These are wild.
Whoa! I wasn't expecting that.
Phone? Gareth, look at this.
Yo, that's insane.
Isn't that mad?
That is insane.
Okay, so this is the OPPO Find X5 Pro. To put it simply, it's a mobile phone, and I've been using it a lot recently, literally just testing out the camera, seeing what it's capable of, and the results are actually really surprising. Okay, so those of you that are curious, the camera actually has a 50 megapixel camera. You can also shoot on the ultra wide angle lens. You can also shoot in RAW, and it has a pro mode, basically meaning that you can adjust all your settings such as shutter speed, ISO, and all of that good stuff. And what's more, for the night shooters out there, it actually has an anti-shake feature, making it even better for night photography, as you're going to have less blurriness and more crispy shots at night. So in order to fully push this phone to its maximum potential, we're actually going to be taking it to the Wimbledon tennis championships to sort of capture some live action. I've also lined up a portrait shoot later on in the video. And finally, we have a night photography shoot where I'm also going to show you how I go about editing my pictures. So make sure you stick around to the end of the video, and I hope you enjoy, guys. Up to you guys. So one of the things that actually impressed me the most about this phone was the portrait mode. You know, I was actually very surprised of how it held up, especially in terms of the subject separation. You know, I found it really similar to that of an actual camera. So I decided, why not take on an actual portrait shoot to see how it actually fared when shooting legitimate portraits. These are wild.
Whoa! I wasn't expecting that.
Phone? Gareth, look at this.
Yo, that's insane.
Isn't that mad?
That is insane.
Okay, so I'm now going to demonstrate kind of like the low light and night capabilities of this phone. Obviously, as you guys know, I'm more of a night shooter. So this will be a good test actually to see how this sort of fares with this low light. So we've come into London and I'm gonna stick it on a tripod because we've got full control so we can shoot in manual. And we're gonna try some long exposures with some buses and hopefully it should be pretty good. So yeah, let's just literally just try it now. So obviously we come to this really cool location and the idea for this shot is that we're gonna stick it on this tripod here. I've actually got a phone mount which will be really useful. And we set the camera into Pro mode, which means we can literally manually change all the settings. I'm gonna put the lens onto a super wide angle lens so that we get this whole perspective here. And if we come up here, we can actually make our camera shoot in RAW, which is even easier when it comes to editing. So if I bring the ISO down to 100, and I'm thinking around a 1 second shutter should be enough for this shot. And there's literally a bus coming now, so I'm gonna test it. If I hit the shutter now, we're at 1 second, and hopefully that shot looks kind of cool, but I think what will be better is if we had a bus coming down this side so that it's a lot more impactful for the shot. But to be honest with you, I'm actually really surprised with how that's come out. Like, it's super sharp. And for a phone, I think that's nuts. Like, it's such a minimal setup as well. Right, here's a bus. Do it now. So that was a tiny bit close, but okay, there's got another bus now. They're literally coming all at once. Right, ready? Boom. Okay, cool. Okay, sick. That's really nice. So obviously we've got two shots here. We've got the RAW shot and we've got the JPEG shot. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good demonstration. So I'm gonna show you guys now exactly how I go about editing my pictures to give you guys a bit of an insight how I do that. But yeah, let's just go straight to the editing.
Okay, right, so I've imported all of our images into Lightroom. As you can see, we've got a bunch of different options, but the one I'm liking is one I took close to the beginning. It's kind of like the rear end of a bus, and we've got these cool sort of whitey colder lights. You can see how sharp the image is. Like, it's actually crazy for a phone. I think it was taken, so it's a 1 second exposure, f2.2 ISO 100, so we've got a nice wide aperture there. So what I'm gonna do is quickly just see if anything works on the side here. I'm gonna start off with something like this. So I just apply the preset as kind of like a base. Obviously the clarity is way too low, so I'm gonna bring that up here. Then if we come down to our curves, so we've already got a little bit of an S curve in here. I'm gonna go to the shadows and bring them down a bit to add a bit more contrast, introduce a few more blacks in there. I might boost the luminance. Essentially the luminance is basically the brightness of a color. So if you look at the blues, we can literally just change how bright they are. I think they look a lot better when they're brighter. Also with the reds, we can really boost out the reds in the bus. Now I'm gonna introduce some masks and adjustments. So I'm gonna go to our linear gradient and drag it up from the bottom, just because I think the floor is a little bit, it's a little bit flat and it kind of looks a little bit washed out. So I'm gonna, there we go, boost up the clarity to sort of really play on that concrete. I'm gonna bring down the exposure a little bit, just to draw the eyes more to the center of the image. And I'm gonna finish it off with another radial gradient right in the center, because this is really where we want the eyes to be drawn. We're gonna up that exposure just a little bit and bring down those highlights just to compensate for what we've just done. Potentially think about boosting up those shadows. That way the center of the image really stands out. On the left we have our before, on the right we have our after, and that all started from the base of a preset. Like, it looked completely different from the beginning. From the beginning it looked like this, but we've brought it back to something like this. So okay, so that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I really hope that you guys did enjoy watching me go out and shoot with this really cool mobile phone. If there's something that you guys would like to see more of, do let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would leave a like or a comment on this video if you found it useful. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in future videos. And one more thing, I just would like to say that my presets are now available. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for a while now, but they are now available. So yeah, with that all said and done, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. And yeah, until next time.